Well, we all know that we had to talk about this. Mitch Marner potentially being traded and the rumors with the Nashville Predators. We're going to get right into this. So if you guys are new here, like, subscribe, join the squad. I'd love to have you guys here. My name is Andrew Piluk Hockey. Hopefully you guys will enjoy this video. Today we're going to be talking about Mitch Marner and the Maple Leafs and apparently the Nashville Predators. So let's just do a little bit of a background on this, if I may. So there's been some speculation about the Maple Leafs potentially trading Mitch Marner, one of the stars of the Maple Leafs, and he's a fantastic player. Like, look, he hasn't really been as good as they had hoped for in the playoffs in terms of a game-changing player. But to be fair, the core four itself hasn't done that. Now, with an aging Johnny T probably not going to waive his no move, with Matthews and Nylander locked up and playing pretty damn well in the regular season and in the playoffs, maybe not getting to that next level, but maybe Berube can unlock that. Mitch Marner, who is without a contract extension past this season, is the most likely candidate to be traded. Now, nobody is discounting the way that Marner plays. He's a fantastic player, like I said. It might just be a time where the Maple Leafs need to move on. And the Nashville Predators are a team that supposedly might be interested. Now, this has been something that's been talked about for a while now, that there would be a handful of teams that would already be interested in Mitch Marner, and I do believe Nashville was one of them. Now, Nashville made a very interesting trade, clearing up some cap space, trading Ryan McDonough, a guy that Preds fans like. He's getting towards the end of his career, but he's going back to the Tampa Bay Lightning, and he's still a guy that can play at a high level. He's going back to a team that he won a Stanley Cup with, and actually probably multiple. I can't remember when he joined the team, but they're now with a lot of cap space. Now, as you can see, roughly they have about $26 million in cap space, and they could go out there and spend it. Now, they could spend it in free agency, or they can make a trade. Now, Barry Trotz, who is the GM of the Nashville Predators, was literally asked straight up, are you going to be trading for Mitch Marner? Like, are you guys interested in him? And he said, I read the same thing as you guys do. It's just rumors. Now, Pierre LeBrun also said that Darren Ferris, Mitch Marner's agent, they haven't made a list. They haven't made a list of teams that the player would accept a trade to. So Mitch Marner definitely coming to the end of that contract that he signed in 2019. And his bonuses will get paid out on July 1st. So if the Maple Leafs were to ask him to waive, I would imagine it's going to happen sooner than later, and then they'd be able to trade him on Canada Day. And we do see a lot of teams wait for Canada Day to make moves, because if that's when they sign the contract, that's when it resets, and that's when you can, make that happen. You can go out there, you can go and trade that player, because Mitch Marner is being paid out mostly by his bonuses, by his signing bonus, and that's why teams would be interested. Now, the cap hit will stay the same at 10.9 for that last season, but as you can see, his base salary is less than $1 million. So the team that acquires him would be getting him at this much. Now, their cap hit would still be up there, but again, the actual dollars being paid out to Mitch Marner, you're paying less than $1 million for a guy that can potentially get you to 100 points. He's basically money in the bank for 85 plus. So, look, I know that it makes sense for the Maple Leafs and their fans to go out there and look at every move and say, clearing cap space for Mitch Marner. And in this situation, it makes a little bit more sense, and it starts to open up the eyes of a lot of people, because the Maple Leafs and their fans, and hell, even some Nashville fans, are starting to link together the fact that they've got a star player that has an expiring contract and Nashville needs scoring, and the Maple Leafs are looking for a goaltender, and the Nashville Predators have a goalie that has an expiring contract, and that's UC Saros. Now, Saros is one of the best goalies in the league, in my opinion. I don't think a lot of people would argue that. But again, $5 million contract here, last year of that deal. So you're trading Mitch Marner for a guy with an expiring deal. Marner also has the expiring contract. But as you can see, in limited sample sizes, even in the playoffs, he's looked pretty good. Obviously, this season here, the 1920 wasn't his best showing, but even in 6 games this year, just above 2 goals per game and a 900 save percentage. But throughout the years, even in the regular season, he's playing 60 plus games, right? Like, this is a bona fide starting goaltender that can give you a chance to win every single night and then give you minutes in the playoffs as well. And, he's performed pretty damn well, even, the last 2 playoff appearances, which is obviously something that you'd want to gauge it off of. So in his last 2 appearances, he's been a pretty damn good goaltender in the playoffs, and he's durable because he's playing 60 plus games. So if Joseph Woll is your backup and you're worried about him being hurt, well, he's not going to have to play that much because you're going to have Saros out there playing 60 plus games, which is a huge plus. You get a starting goalie that can play that much, you're far and away good. Like, that's fantastic. Now, the reason why this could make sense is because the Predators have a goalie waiting in the wings, and that is Yaroslav Askarov. Now, he's still pretty young, 21 years old, very small sample size, but as you can see, the numbers look promising. He looks like he's going to be a pretty good goaltender. So it's whether or not this deal can come together. I don't know which team would owe more. Personally, I know starting goaltenders are hard to find, but, scoring wingers that can put up 90 points is also pretty tough to find. So while I want to say that the Leafs would, benefit from a trade like this because they would probably ask for Saros plus, I would look for a high pick. Now, mind you, it could be the complete opposite, and people could think, oh no, the Leafs have to add to this deal. I personally do believe that it's getting close to even if you look at the value of both players, the goaltender and the forward. But I do believe Nashville would have to sweeten the pot a little bit. Now, I think the Leafs could add to that trade. I don't think it would ever be 1-for-1, but then that might increase the offer in terms of maybe it's a draft pick that comes back and potentially gives the Leafs a first-round pick or, a second and a fourth plus Saros, and then the Leafs give up like a prospect, maybe one of their goalie prospects that are like deeper in their system, plus like a forward that they're not going to use from the Marlies, something around that. Like, you have to find what teams value most. The Leafs and Predators are both in a window where they both want to win because the Predators had a pretty decent season. They went into the playoffs. They lost in round 1. Same thing with the Maple Leafs. They're looking potentially for scoring. They have an expiring goalie. The Leafs are looking for a goalie. They have an expiring forward. It might just be a match made in heaven. But again, we don't know how Marner will play on Nashville if this happens. We won't know how Saros will play on the Leafs if this happens. The Leafs need to improve that blue line greatly. And then, of course, the Predators would have to surround Marner with scoring talent, which they do have pretty talented players. Like Forsberg is just out of this world. So, again, I'm not saying that this is going to happen. This has just been the biggest rumor recently. And as a Leaf fan and as a fan of, making these trade talk videos, of course, I'm going to be talking about it. So I want to hear from you guys. What do you think the Maple Leafs should do? Should they go out there and trade for a guy like UC Saros? Should they go out there and trade Mitch Marner for him? If you guys are new here, like this video. Sound off in the comments. Subscribe. I greatly appreciate the support of you guys. I'm having so much fun making these videos. Go Leafs go, and let's see what happens. Peace.